There we go.
You're listening to another Woodshop podcast, the okayest podcast of its type. Your hosts are Daniel Dunlap of Daniel Dunlap Woodworks and Peter Kapar of P-Trees Workshop. You can find them as well as the podcast on your favorite social media platforms.
Welcome to episode 193 of another Woodshop podcast, where we're rolling in hot off another Workbench Con trip. And honestly, Dan and I are literally having to be rolled into rooms after all the eating and staying up late we did. Now, it was another banger of a conference. We learned a lot. We forgot even more. And we're ready to do it all over again next year. But first, we're going to share it all with you with this recap episode.
Woo! Recap.
Nothing to talk about. See you guys next week. Bye.
This was fun. Let's do it again.
You know how I would love to recap, Dan?
I don't know.
Top tier patrons?
It's been so long since we've done this. I forgot what was happening. Let's talk about patrons. I don't know why I'm talking funny like that.
Can you do it the whole episode, please?
Let's talk about patrons. First of all, no, I can't do it.
No, please don't. No, it got worse.
We got one new patron, and he's a returning patron. And that is Scotty Holland from Elevated Wood Design. Thank you, Scotty.
He's my favorite European themed patron. Because Holland
would be Europe, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That's where IKEA is at, in Holland.
You know what? I'll allow it.
Am I rightish?
You're in the ballpark. The best type of correct.
I'm in the. It's what kind of ballpark would that be in Holland? Would that be
kickball or whatever they play out there?
No, don't they play that weird croquet? No.
Strudel toss.
It's the baseball. It's the baseball ripoff.
Cricket.
They like bounce the ball. Cricket. That's
cricket.
It. It's cricket.
Yeah.
That I knew it. Anyway, let's talk about our top tier patrons, because we always like to give those guys an extra shout out because they go above and beyond. And they are as follows. Scotty Holland. Hey, hey Scotty. Charlie Coons from Stubby K Studio. Justin Frazier from Frazier Canyon Woodworks. Jesse McIntyre from Sage Hill Woodcraft. Gillette Woodworks. Victor Aragama. O'Healy Boots from Nick Brim Woodworks. I can't wait to talk about that. Matt Maynard. Thank you, Matt. Matt gave me a t-shirt at Workbench Con.
He gave me a t-shirt. I drove home in it. Very comfy.
What's even funnier about that, I don't know if it's funny or not, but we owe him a t-shirt.
Shut up.
Bill Burkle from WTB Woodworking. Malcolm over at Bossa Nova Woodworks. Can't talk well. Justin from Calvary Customs. Justin was one of the fine gentlemen that joined me at the Waffle House that one night, or early morning. We were there at 4 a.m. Anyway, Patrick Gensel from Patrick Gensel. Scott Shirk from Red Leg Custom Woodworks. Max
also at Workbench Con.
At Stubby K Studio. And I learned this at Workbench Con. Justin Bailey.
Yes.
From Campfire Woodworks.
Justin Bayleaf was the one with the funny name.
The Loden Herbeck. Yep, that was Justin. That was Justin. He thinks he's funny, and it was actually a little funny.
Yeah, he's funny looking.
He is funny looking.
Good looking.
I got to see a lot of Justin at Workbench Con.
Yeah, really a lot.
I saw a lot of people at Workbench Con. A lot.
Upwards of
more than
hundreds,
6.
More than 6 at least. More than I see every week on this podcast. Also, Dan, what is happening with the background there? What for a while I couldn't tell where my video started and where yours did because they're like the same color.
We have the same. I forgot to switch. I had this color scheme when we had on the Pineys, and you know what?
I like it. Listen, you got the pink and the purples. It's nice.
It's less angry.
It is less angry. Yes, the red is very angry. I'm glad you did that.
This is more subdued. Subdued, Dan. I'm doing voices this week, you guys.
Dan's doing subdued voices.
I don't know what's going on. I think what's happening is I haven't had a drink since we got back from Workbench Con.
Yeah.
Because I'm all like,
Is everything okay at home?
yeah, everything's great. Everything's great. I don't know about you, but I need to make some life changes, bro. I saw myself in so many pictures and videos. I'm like, oh my God.
This is the moment that made you think that?
Well, it certainly didn't help. Or
Full
it did help.
transparency, anytime Dan and myself get back from Workbench Con or Maker Camp or any event where makers
Or
get
any
together
event, really.
and become belligerent at least one night, we're like, we got to make some changes, man. We got to make some changes.
Gotta make some changes.
So we're going to make some changes this year.
Damn it. It's going to happen.
Or quite literally, die trying.
That's probably more
literally the
accurate than
two
I'd
options
like
at
to
this
admit.
point. Like, we are going to make a change or die trying. So let's do it.
Well, what
yeah.
made things worse this year was Nick and Braden, Nick Brim.
Never makes anything good.
Bros. And Braden from Little Bug. They're my ride or die. They're my OMA bros, in case you guys didn't know. Nick lives 20 minutes from me to the east. Braden lives 20 minutes from me to the west. We hang out. I see him all the time. Anyways, they scoured my old Instagram post and they found a post from 2019. And I made this post because I had just bought my first Workbench Con ticket. And I went out into my shop and I did like a hooting and hollering, like Howard Dean
you were
style.
A little excited.
I was very excited. I was going to Workbench Con for the first time.
Yeah.
And they found it. I didn't know it still existed. And they made it into like this little meme and they spread it around. And when the plane landed in Atlanta this year, when I got off, I had no less than like 50 messages of people tagging me in remixes of this thing. And I was flattered, but I was also looking at that old video going, oh my God, what has time doneth to me? You know what I mean?
You know, it's ironic you're saying that, Dan, because I'm in a lobby first night having a grand old time, having a great time. And then Tweedledee, Dumb and Dumbest all walk in from the airport rocking giant billboard t-shirts of my face circa like 2012 when I had long
First
hair
of all,
and a pencil stash.
We did the like mad dash to change our clothes in the parking lot of, of the hotel. Not the parking lot, like the main entrance door. We just stood off to the side. We're like, okay, we gotta get it. We didn't want to wear them on the way to the airport and then like somebody do like a story or something and it to show up.
But like not just t-shirts, like Braden's shirt was literally one of those like bedazzled, like flip your hand over it one way and it's a heart and just like blue heart and you flip it down and it's my stupid face. And they had hats. Dan's literally wearing it. You should check out the video on YouTube.
It's a great hat. I love it.
I think I have one that says like Little Bug Woodworking, but it's my dumb face on it. And honestly, like I keep looking at it, I'm like, that was a good look. I should come back to that.
No.
Yeah, it slaps.
Absolutely not. No, I think your wife would agree with me. I don't think.
All right, bringing it back, baby. Let's go.
Okay, that'll be our poll in the next pre-show. We'll do that poll.
But dude, I was dying when that happened. I walk up to say hi to you guys and I look at you guys and I literally just start wheezing and crying all at the same time. And everyone at the bar is like, what the actual F is happening? Who's that lady on your shirt and why does she have a beard?
No, she had she's got a tiny lip mustache. I don't know. Oh yeah,
it filled in. Look at the video. Filled in. I have a beard now. I'm a real boy.
Yeah, that was fun. Dumb. That was fun. I enjoyed that a lot. I think that might have been my highlight for the whole trip, walking in with the shirt.
That was pretty hilarious, man.
I had a really hard time keeping that a secret. I'm not good at keeping fun secrets. I like to share.
I'm shocked that you guys kept it going as long as you did without me finding out.
Oh yeah, we've been planning it for a couple weeks.
Days even.
Anyway.
Well,
what do we do here? It's been so long.
So we're gonna get into because we have some questions and we asked some people call in with their favorite part of Workbench Con, their experience with it, you know, what they liked, what they didn't like, all that stuff, blah blah blah. So we're gonna kind of get into that, but we'll give you guys a quick little recap of Workbench Con. If you don't know what Workbench Con is, you've been living under a rock because we've been talking about it for the last 6 months. It's a huge conference
it's gone.
No, it's gone in Atlanta every single year. and it runs from Thursday up until Saturday night, and it's essentially a content creator oriented conference where you're going to classes, seminars, you're talking with brands, you're talking with other huge accounts, like the monster accounts that we all follow and love, and you get to just talk to them face to face and ask them questions, and they share the information.
The way you say that, it makes it sound like they're like animals in a zoo. You get to walk up to them and
no, it's
look
not.
at them.
It's like an alpaca farm. Like you can walk up and like pet them. They might spit on you.
Then when you leave, you can get a pair of socks made from their fur.
Ooh.
Alpaca socks.
Oh,
those are a thing.
Bourbon moth socks. Nice.
Yeah.
It's all chest hair.
Made from his chest hair.
Why don't we both go to chest? Very voluptuous locks in his chest.
Real awkward.
Bourbon moth chest hair. That's going to be the show title.
Well,
why not?
I thought we were just going to keep it simple with WBC recap, but bourbon moth chest hair could work, I guess.
I guess that works.
SEO.
Well, but the event was a lot of fun. A bit of a topic came up yesterday when we were chatting in our we have several chats. I feel like I'm in like 6 chats with Dan.
No. You're not in 6 chats with me. You're in 2 because I refuse to do that many group chats. Group chats are the bane of my existence.
Technically, I also text you directly, which is another group chat. I mean, very lame group. Just party of 2.
The group is me and you.
Just party of 2.
Is that really a group chat? In that case, I have thousands of group chats.
So we were made aware of something. First of all, so we're at Workbench Con. It's 500 tickets were sold roughly. I think that's usually the number. 500 to 700 is like what they
cap it around there.
With.
Yeah,
and it's always packed in the lobby and in the afterwards, everyone kind of hangs out in the lobby by the bar. And this year felt very light. We're all kind of like, what's happening? Where is everyone? And we didn't know what was happening because usually you're bumping into people at the bar. This time we're just like strolling through between groups. It still was a lot of people, probably 200 people in that lobby, but spread out. And it just didn't feel as busy as it was in the past. So we had found out that apparently it was the record number of new people attending the conference. And apparently not all of them they were a little intimidated by the core group. So before I go any further, walk up to us. We all want to talk to you. I don't care who you're thinking of, whether it's me and Dan at the bottom or the big wigs at the top, So
I'm usually on the bottom.
Dan's a power bottom.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But so the whole conversation started because someone had reached out to one of our friends and was like, hey, like it was great meeting you. It was awesome. I got to say though, like you guys were a little the big influencers were a little unapproachable, or it was like intimidating to approach. And my first reaction was, he thinks we're big influencers.
First of all, I'm pretty sure that person was not talking about you specifically.
No, but one of the someone who we hung it was Braden, like someone we hang out with all the time. And I'm not putting anyone on blast. Like I'm just gonna put it from the other end now, because my first time at Workbench Con, I was mortified to say hi to anyone that was like the people I idolized. Like I remember like shaking hands with like Jason and Keith and Jimmy for the first time, being like, I just said hi to Jimmy. I don't mean Dan giggling in a corner.
My first year, I really wanted to go talk to Paul Jackman, and I was too scared.
Love Jack
intimidated
Pullman
or whatever. Yeah,
I remember that too, man. And
now he looks at me and makes fat jokes. So here we are. Now, the moral of the story is like that not only should you not be intimidated by going up to people and saying hi and introducing yourself, but it's kind of a two-way street. Simply because like we're people too. And I'm going to include myself into that group, I guess, for some reason, but we're people too. And like, if you don't at least come up and say hi and introduce yourself, like we're not just going to walk around like we're the bride and groom and introduce ourselves to everybody.
Yeah. And I just want to clarify, we're not talking to us, whatever, like we're some big influencers. That's not, it's more just like,
absolutely not.
I kept referring to it as the core group. It's the people that are the loudest and most annoying on the internet.
Yeah, there's
it's
like
us.
200 people.
Yeah, and it's like we all kind of know each other or know of each other, or our friends are friends with our friends. Basically, we all kind of hang out together. So it's not a numbers game. It's not a popularity
No,
thing.
not at all.
Because like even look at our core group, like the Oma Bros and and me, and then and like Emma, like more people cared about Emma than all of us combined. First
Absolutely,
of all,
it did.
Then it's like me and Dan, and we're like the big
Pete.
accounts, whatever. But then like Braden's to me, he's a decent big account too. And then you got Nick, who's like kind of doing it for fun on the side, just for the hangouts, and like we're literally the widest range of like influence on the internet, but we're all friends. And that's kind of my point, because like I used Braden as the example when we were talking about this, because last year Dan's like, I'm bringing this guy with me. He's going to share the room. His name is Medium Bug, whatever. Like, and I'm just like, who's this dude? Never heard of him. Okay, whatever. I see him and I'm like, all right, well, let's all hang out. Like, I don't know who it is. Like, it's going to be cordial. Braden's like my brother now. He's family as much as, because you love him and you hate him. So sometimes I hate him, sometimes I love him. But like Braden's family, Nick Brim is family. Scott Shirk joined us. I love that dude. I've been talking to him for years on the stoop. Like all these people are really close friends of ours, and all the people that like are the core group. It's because it's basically just time. We saw each other enough times at these big enough events. Were in each other's content, helped each other out in some way, worked on projects together. It's just really, really nice. Yeah. So sorry, Dan just texted me.
I didn't want to say that out loud.
No, it's fine. But it's just, like we all basically was, I jokingly always say this with Emma about Emma joining the business. Like it's just attrition. We wore them down. We just kept showing up until Sam was like,
I like that.
Okay,
We wore them down.
Can hang out with us.
Oh, you're back. Okay. Well,
okay. Well, you're clearly not
just
going
something
away.
I'm going to have to live with now.
So basically this is an invitation for everyone to just like come by, say hi,
Yeah, it doesn't matter where we're at. Like I even have people approach me at Menards here locally occasionally. I mean, it's
never been recognized anywhere ever.
I have like 2 or 3 times now. Like, oh, you're here. I always wondered if I was going to run into you. I was like, oh yeah, here I am.
You do shop here. Okay.
Yes. It's not a bit. I shop here. They have the best mayo selection.
So on the flip side of this whole like quiet lobby time, I gotta say it was really nice to just talk to that core group. Like we got to still continue the conversations with people we idolize and like and love and want to know more or work with or have worked with. So it was really nice to kind of connect with everyone. And it was good, because it felt lighter. So it felt like I really got more like one-on-one time with people this time, which was really cool. I didn't get enough time with you, Dan. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I think we spread ourselves out a little bit, and I talk to you like every week, and even more than that, I talk to you every day. So frankly, I get tired of talking to you.
Yeah, when me and Dan get together, it's silent.
Yeah, it's
we'll like sit there and we're both on our phones and like, this is great. Let's do it again. So what else, Dan? What else was exciting about the week?
I mean, this year I kind of took it easy. I only stayed up super late one night, one faithful night. Me and like several guys, I can't even remember who all it was. I know there was like 6 or 7 guys, but we all went to the Waffle House at about 4 a.m.
Which is when you go to Waffle House. You know the number one rule of Waffle House, right? If
it's your first night, you have to fight.
You have to fight. That. If it's your first time, you have to fight. Yes.
It wasn't my first time, thankfully.
Thank goodness.
And that it all sounded like a great idea at the time, man. I tell you what, it sounded lovely. I was like, oh yeah, Waffle House sounds wonderful. Granted, I was 19 sheets to the wind at that time. And it was great, but the day after, man, I felt like poo-poo. And I stayed in my bedroom in the hotel room until 3 p.m.
Dan took a sick day.
I took a sick day, and
Quite literally
I was
took a
like,
sick
I
day.
better go down there because like the closing ceremony speech that Ann of all trades was given was like at 4 or 4:30. So
Yeah.
yeah, I had to make my way down eventually. Otherwise, I could have stayed in the room all day.
I know,
All
but then
day.
you're missing out on all this stuff, and it's all
Yeah.
that FOMO. I was
But other than that,
remarkably
like, yeah, other than that, I went to bed at a respectable hour.
I was remarkably responsible this year. I felt very proud of myself because I was like Emma was going to bed early because she's pregnant, she's tired and
She's
wanted to
pregnant. She's
rest.
no fun.
She's still fun, just in her own
No,
pace.
she's fine. I'm kidding. I love you, Emma.
No, I know. But like, no, I didn't want to stay up super late. Like, I think one night I stayed up till 2 was my late night. And I feel like this year, every year, honestly, I've been getting better about managing my time there. And one thing that, some people were giving me crap for the first day, because everyone's going real hard that Wednesday night, even that Thursday night. They're like, because Wednesday night is that's the pre-show.
I don't
That's
remember
before.
what time I went to bed Wednesday night. I feel like it was
Like, I think you guys said
it may have been like 1 or 2. And I
think it
say
was like 2 or
relatively
3-ish.
early
Yeah.
because like in Workbench Cons past, I've stayed awake till 3, 4, 5.
Oh yeah, that's been like a standard.
So if I
for
go to
us.
bed at 1 or 2 at Workbench Con, that feels like it's early.
But like for us, Wednesday night was day 4. So like we were already 4th day into our trip of like driving.
Right.
Yeah, we the total trip time, I threw the numbers at everyone when I finally got home. We spent 35 hours in the car.
Oh
and
God.
We drove 2,000 miles over the whole trip because we went down to Nashville, stayed with Brett and Bethany, had a great time there. Then went down to Fort Payne, Alabama, stayed with our friends at the school bus again, and then we went up to Workbench Con. So we're already tired. It was like 4th night. And then I
just think next year you're gonna do it with a child.
Yeah, next year we're gonna figure out. I don't think we're bringing the kid to that, so it's either gonna be just me or we're gonna figure out something. I don't know. We'll plan that when we get to it.
Yeah, burn that bridge when you get there, baby.
That's not the saying.
It's not? No? Okay.
Yeah. But Dan,
burn that baby when you bridge there.
We'll kind of get into like more of the classes and things, but like, do you have any takeaways or like what was like your favorite moment and maybe like what some stuff maybe you learned from another maker or a class?
I don't know. Come back to me on that. I need to think
okay.
more. I mean, I had a really cool moment, and I don't know if I want to share that because it was it felt like a private moment, and I don't mean that in any kind of creepy, weird way. It was just I had a really good talk with somebody who I really idolize, and it was a really good talk, and I really enjoyed it, and I'm going to treasure that talk for all my life.
I think you could say the name. You don't have to go.
I had a really good talk with Jimmy DiResta, and it was fantastic. But I won't go into detail. But
yeah,
that was probably my big takeaway and my favorite moments.
I think knowing who it is makes it a little deeper too. Like Jimmy is. The more I get to know him,
yeah. If you ever get a chance to meet Jimmy, or you see him out somewhere, go up to him, talk to him. He's one of the best humans on this planet. He is so welcoming and just full of knowledge, and he's always willing to talk. And he's just great. He's great.
I saw him
Can't
at the
say
bar.
enough good things about Jimmy.
I like turned around and he was there and his hand was coming to me for a handshake before I even like said hi to him. And I was like, Jimmy knows me. I was like so excited. Like Jimmy knows who I am. At least he knows my face. He doesn't have to know my name, but he is genuinely one of the nicest people in the community. Like all the hype is real. Jimmy is great. What did you learn, Dan? Did you take something away from the whole experience?
I think you and I kind of learned the same thing. We already talked about it a little bit, so I'm going to steal some of your fire. I learned never to file for a patent unless it's a banger idea and you're going to make millions off of it. That's filing for a patent is a bad idea. Gosh, what else did I learn? I don't know.
That was from Chris and Chris from A Glimpse Inside and Philip
Miller.
Furniture. Yeah, I was kind of like, no, it's a different one, different M. They're talking about the 2 different approaches to like bringing a product to market. And
right.
One was basically, I have one product and I'm trying to patent it and do all this stuff. And he's going through all this stuff like, you're talking me out of it. And then, and you got Chris who's like, make all the things, see what sticks to the wall, and keep going.
Yeah, and
Which
I got several good motivational talks from other people like down in the lobby and stuff about how to more more efficiently run my Etsy store. So hopefully I can put that into practice one of these days. Before I do any of that, the shop of mine needs to be upended and overhauled and just cleaned out and
gotta clean it
rearranged.
up.
So,
I still gotta come out to you guys one day and just help you out one weekend.
well, the Oma Bros and I, well, I am an Oma Bro, so
You're
the
throwing
Oma Bros,
OmaCon?
we're gonna have a shop organization cleaning like party, and we're gonna do it for me, and then we're gonna do Nick's shop, and then we're gonna do Braden's shop. So not all at the same time. That would be
OmaCon.
yeah, that's our OmaCon. How sad is that?
But I mean, listen.
No, seriously though, me, Nick, and Braden, we actually talked about, the Midwest needs a Workbench Con or something because there's nothing here. There's nothing here of that.
The thing is with Omaha is great of a central location as it is.
I'd be willing to go to Kansas City.
No, but so that was my thought is like,
yes,
Kansas City I think has more direct flights into it.
Yeah, it's an international airport.
That's why Atlanta is as far east as it is, like it's a great spot because everyone flies in direct basically, or you can at least.
Yes.
I mean, I'd be down to come out to Omaha. We got to make a trip out there. We got to make something happen. It's gonna be fun.
You want to make another baby with me?
With you? We do have a baby. It's called AWP.
Oh,
and
she's make 4. Another one.
Make second podcast. Another podcast. We'll just make it.
That's what this community needs. More podcasts.
Let's go.
Let's talk about that. Not. I don't know. I don't have much else to add. I'll tell you this. I should have took more notes. I get so caught up in just talking to people and being in the moment. I don't make content while I'm there. And every time I get back, I see everybody's content that they make, and they show their little reels and their Workbench Con recap reels and stuff. And I'm like, oh, I should have took more videos and photos. And then we get to talking about, what was your takeaway? And I'm like, oh, I should have took notes because your memory is horrible. And
my takeaway, Dan is stupidly good at scroll sawing.
Oh yeah, I am.
Like it should have no.
That was shockingly. I was shockingly good at that.
So if I may share, like Dan.
Go ahead.
Dan has slightly shaky hands sometimes.
Yeah.
And it must have been offsetting the vibration of the scroll saw.
It's like when you pull up your iPhone camera and the shutter speed is going the same as the helicopter blade, and it looks like the helicopter blade isn't spinning.
Or when you're like taking a video and the flickering of the lights is exactly what
right.
Yeah. So like Dan is cutting. So Ashley from Ashwood and Hawk and Lizzie from A House of Timber. I don't know if you guys heard of her. So they had these like glue-on templates, and it was like straight line, circle, square, squiggly, right? So you can like practice scroll sawing. Dan is zooming.
I told him I'd never done it before,
and he's doing the squiggly line dead on center. And Lizzie and Ashley are both like, "What? Where did this come from?
You're a liar. You've done this. I've never done it.
Never." Done it. Everyone's just amazed. There's video of this. Like, Dan, but just post that as your thing.
Well, I already posted it.
Yeah, but honestly, like that experience, I really did enjoy scroll sawing. I'm like, oh man, I kind of want to get one. Emma enjoyed it too.
It was fun. It was like old timey CNC, and it's fun.
Old timey CNC.
No, it was fun. I would love to do it more, but like the last thing I need in my life is another rabbit hole to go down, right? Like,
yeah.
Well, I just got the thunder laser in today. And that's another rabbit hole I'm going to be going down here pretty soon.
Well, do you want to jump it? Well, I guess no. Let's finish up the Workbench Con recap.
Yeah.
We'll get into what's in the bench.
I haven't even unboxed it yet, so I really
no, that'll be exciting. So what else? Did you talk to a lot of brands, do anything like that, or lock down anything with some other makers or anything like that?
Well, yeah, you and I talk to brands together. We're trying to be perfectly honest. We're trying to get some more sponsorships for the podcast. So Pete and I did that. I did talk to the fine folks at Vectric. I'm excited about that. So I need to email those guys tomorrow, actually. I've been slipping. I know we've been back for almost a week. and I still haven't emailed. I figure you need to give those folks time to get back home and settle, right?
Right.
Because
I probably
like,
should have reminded
they're
you about that,
probably gonna
Dan.
get bombarded with emails like right away, right? I don't want to get lost in the crowd, so you wait.
You know what's funny? I had one of them reach out to me like the first day, and I'm like, I was gonna give you a day. Like I was gonna let you. They even specifically were like, hit me up this week, but like give me a couple of days and we'll take care of it. And they reach out to me Monday, and I'm like, I don't even have time to look at this.
Right?
Yeah, like Monday was crazy.
Talk to. Were you with me, or was it Braden and Nick that were with me when I talked to the Bill and Bill from Bow Featherboards?
Oh, that was me and you.
Was that you?
Bill and his
fun.
son Bill.
They're very excited, and they got some pretty sweet products. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting in contact with them. They got a really cool.
Dan, you did get in contact. Actually, well, the podcast got in contact with them today.
Okay.
You should also reach out to them.
Yeah, individually.
But make sure you got to email Bill, not Bill.
Okay.
Bill doesn't handle that. Bill does. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Is that Bill at Bow or Billy at Bow?
Billy.
Billy at Bow. Okay. Anyways,
actually,
they have a really cool bandsaw fence extension that I think would be very handy.
They actually launched a couple of cool new products. So we all know like bow feather boards, like they're like those green feather boards.
Yeah, the green feather boards with the foam fingers. Yeah.
But they have these really nice, like it's powder coated extruded aluminum, not powder coated, but it's like anodized. It's really nice extension fences for your bandsaw or small like contractor saw, and they come with like a part on the bottom that you can slide in and out that basically extends your outfeed.
Yeah,
so you're going to have a lot more in and out feed.
A really minimalized outfeed table, an infeed table, really.
In and out.
Really slick. Yeah.
It goes both ways.
And it also comes with burgers and fries.
So it's pretty cool. So I did see a couple things that were pretty neat. Like new things that are coming out. Pardon me. One other thing that I saw that was kind of cool was Lightburn. I go over to
Thank you for reminding me. I forgot to go talk to those folks. I wanted to, and I never got a chance.
So just so you know, so the people that were there, it wasn't like their media manager team or content creators or sales. They sent 2 engineers.
Why?
Which, here's the thing, for marketing, whatever, might be a bad move. I loved it. They love it because we nerded out. Because here's what happened. Okay. I go there. I'm like, hey, so what's going on? Like, I'll just approach. Like, I work with Lightburn already. Like, or I don't work with them in any way. But like, I use the application.
Right.
I was like, oh, what do you guys, like, what's going on? They're like, oh, we use Light. I'm like, yeah, I use it every day. I do. I mean, shoot, I've done like one-on-one lessons with people. Like, if anyone uses Lightburn, it's me. And then they're like, have you heard of
Which, by the way,
Millmage?
I need to sign up for.
Yeah, you need it. Yes, you do. Exciting. Hey, another lesson I got to do.
Hey.
So then they're like, have you seen Millmage? I'm like, what are you saying to me? What's a Millmage? And it's a level 3 rogue gnome. Get it? Millmage. Never mind. Okay, that's a little callback joke. So Millmage is, imagine Lightburn. If you've ever used Lightburn, if you like Lightburn, it's that, but the whole right side of it, instead of exporting like your laser power and feed, it's your bits. It's for CNCing. So you select your stuff, you design just like you do in Lightburn, you do all that work in there. You have all the same exact tools, except on the right side, you have tool paths.
So they're trying to launch something for CNCs.
Yes. And I mean,
that makes sense, really.
Listen, here's the thing. Lightburn is not a high expense. Like, it's $100 for the application. And the way it works,
which is cheap compared to like Vectric.
Yeah, very cheap.
Carve Pro or Aspire. And
actually, I'm going to lean into this whole thing because I've got a lowdown on something from Vectric as well. So with the whole Millmage thing, so Lightburn is like $100-something for the year of updates. You own it forever, but you don't get new updates. Right. And if you ever want to re-up for the updates, you just buy it again, essentially. Or I think you can like pay for just an update, whatever. You can check out their website for it. So if Millmage has the same thing, that's a pretty nice solution for people. Now, granted, it's still an alpha. It's only got 2.5D, so it will do like what we think of 3D carves. Like when people say 3D carve, they mean double-sided, full 3D, like removing material, or even like a rotary. Most of us, when we talk about 3D carves, like a panel that has some kind of wavy flag or whatever on it. That's 2.5D. I'm saying that correctly. If I'm wrong, just call me out next week. But so it has that, but it's still limited and doesn't have a lot of stuff. And it was actually really great because I'm like, can I take a look at it? He's like, yeah, and he actually pulled out his laptop. They weren't like demoing it actively. So I start messing around. I start making things. I'm like, oh, where is this tool? And he's like, oh, we don't have that. He pulls out a notebook, starts taking notes. And then we're like exporting stuff. And I'm like, or a toolpath. And you know how and I think in Aspire, you can select a toolpath and go, I want to do an offset of a quarter outside. Instead of making another offset and then making that line, whatever, you can just do it in the same toolpath. He's like, oh, that's a good point. Writes it down. I'm like, whoa, you guys are like, you're taking notes on this. They're like, yeah, we actually work on this application. So it was cool because it was literally the people that are writing the app are there.
Why didn't they just go talk to the folks over at Vectric?
Competitors.
Oh, right.
Yeah, just like
that's
Carve
why they were
Co.
so far apart.
Yeah,
okay, I get it.
Because they fight. Exactly.
They're fighters.
So here's the thing. Is it an end all be all? No, not yet. But it's another option. And it's relatively cheap. And you buy it
More
once, you keep it
options
for
are better.
forever. The more options, the better. Exactly. So that was really exciting. The other thing I learned about was Vectric has so we all heard of VCarve Pro and VCarve and Aspire. And Aspire is so expensive.
Oh.
They have like Cut 2D, I think is the application name.
Right.
Which is an entry level to $200. Basically looks like Aspire and VCarve Pro.
But it's missing some.
It doesn't have any 3D modeling, but it will
Right.
still do 2.5 D. So it'll still do, obviously you can still do regular carving, everything, but like it's
Pretty sure it's just flat carving.
No, I think it might do. Well, either way, here's the thing. For that low cost of entry, it's a great software because you get pretty much all the modeling stuff in there except 3D modeling.
Right.
That's not a bad sale because we always looking to like recommend stuff and we kind of always lean towards like, yeah, get VCarve Pro, but it's still like $600-700.
Right.
Something?
Yeah. I think VCarve Pro is around six or seven. Yeah.
So we're finding new solutions for all these like cheaper entry level CNC programs that are honestly pretty robust. That's the really nice thing. But enough about that. That was just cool. Some of the cool vendors that we talked to. X-Fasten was there. They had more tape than they knew what to do.
$699 for VCarve Pro.
That's steep. And what's the other one? Is it Cut 2D?
Cut 2D is their cheaper entry level version.
I think it's $200, right? But
that's what they said when we were there, right?
I think he was looking it up. So we'll see. But there's some cool brands there. We got to meet some. Shopsmith was there. Like the Shopsmith. Yes, that one. Yes, the one your grandpa had. They're still around. They're still making accessories and cool things for it. They had a bunch of stuff there. It was really interesting to see this thing like still chugging and doing some good work. So pretty exciting.
According to the website on vectric.com, Cut 2D Pro, and I don't know if there's a difference between Cut 2D Pro and just Cut 2D. I can't find it. But the Pro is $449.
$449, and I think the basic one was
I can't find Cut 2D.
Cut 2D.
Oh,
$299.
Yeah,
I apologize. $299.
You beat me to it.
Cut 2D. No, I'm sorry. I just clicked.
Is $149.
Yeah, I clicked Cut 3D. They have a 3D one as well. So yeah. Anyways, go check out the Vectric site. They're not paying us for any of this. I just thought it was cool to share with you guys. Yeah, exactly. It was, there's some of the regular brands. Total Boat was always there. They're amazing. Bessie was there. And Maker University was there, and I'll shout them out.
University.
Yeah. So Nick restored this like yellow trike mail
Nick
truck.
Who?
Nick from Stated Wood Company. Stated Wood Co. So I forget his last name. I shouldn't. I feel like I knew it.
Nick Leonard.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is. So they were there and they were just kind of pimping out the class. And I'm going to pimp it out more because I'm actually teaching a class on Etsy and other revenue streams or other storefronts online. I'll be teaching that. I think it's Tuesday or Thursday.
Oh, it's coming up soon.
Tuesday, because Thursday we have a podcast.
Yeah,
so,
I can't do Thursday.
Yeah, I got to just finish up my slides and everything for that, but I'm pretty excited. So if you're looking to sign up for something, honestly, for the cost, it's a really nice class. They had Alex Snodgrass there a couple of weeks ago. They had, oh my God, why am I blanking on his name? Him and his daughter were there.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, I'm like, it's gonna come to me at some point. But anyways, they had some big heavy hitters on there. They're trying to grow it, and it's gonna be a really cool thing. And it's maker made. It's our community. Christy and Nick made it. Like they started the school, and they're trying to really get it going.
The brains behind the Maker collab?
Yeah, the brains behind Maker collab that we all enjoy and love doing. So we want to support
Which
them
I
too.
was forced to sign up for.
Oh, you were doing it?
Yeah.
You're doing a music one?
We're trying to the Oma Bros are trying to do a triangle of collabs.
The Devil's Triangle?
So Braden signed up with me as his teammate. I'm supposed to sign up with Nick as his teammate, and Nick is supposed to sign up with Braden as his teammate. And we're gonna see how that works out.
Can you be on two teams?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
So if that doesn't work, who's getting booted?
I mean, I will happily say
bow out. Happily bow out.
I got enough to do, but they're like, no, you're doing it. And I'm like, okay.
Wait, now I'm kind of curious. Are Nick and Braden friends?
No, they hate each other.
Or is it like, no, because like, sometimes you're friends with people because of friends, and then you're like, huh.
No, yeah.
The third person's not here, and like
they hate each other, man.
Can't tell if you're kidding or not.
They don't like each other. It's super awkward all the time.
Super Omaha. Super Omaha. Okay, so I mean that was the gist. I will talk about a little bit about the note taking. So I am a hypocrite. Dan is a hypocrite. We're
what?
Hippocrates. Crates full of hippos. Because what did we tell you guys all the way leading up to Workbench Con? Go with a plan. Know what you want to talk about.
Did I say that? Did I ever say that?
Oh, we always say that.
I think you said that. I just said, okay.
Yeah, you said bring antacids and like, but I always say like bring or like come with an idea of what you want to talk about, who you want to talk to. I like showed up and I realized I had never made a plan. I was like, there was no brand that I was like trying to talk to or like something I was going to try to start. I was just going for the enjoyment of it. I'm like,
I was apparently trying to start fights.
But like 3 conversations in with like my friends or people I know or I talk to that happen to be with brands as well, or they are a brand and I just know them. And I'm like, oh, I didn't realize this, but these are conversations that I need to follow up on. Because it's all like, everyone's riding a high, like, oh, right. Yeah, let's talk about this. Let's work on this. Let me know if you have any questions or whatever. And it's like, oh, yeah, I need to be taking notes. So I literally whipped out my phone and I wrote like every person I talked to that was a brand and like just notes underneath and like what I need to do. Because the next day I would look at it and be like, oh, I did talk to them. Okay. Or like, what's their name? Todd and Becky from Vetric. Boom. Got it in the notes. So it was really good to take those notes and kind of like, and things I need to follow up on. And I wasn't deleting stuff from there. So I would be like, walk up tomorrow, or like tomorrow, check in with this and send an email, ask about blank. And I just kept like, I had questions and answers all like underneath each other. It wasn't a lot of notes. It was just enough to like keep me on track and remember.
Right. I didn't even think of the fact that you have a note-taking device in your pocket.
It's weird. It's new age. Not everyone likes it. But it's great because now like this week got away from us. We're talking, I keep reminding the guys because we have a little group chat again. We're trying to keep it as a useful group chat and be like, hey, follow up with the people you talk to. You guys probably heard me say that in stories too. Like, I think follow up with some of the brands.
The most useful thing you shared with me in that group chat is, hey, it's Thursday. We got a podcast. And I was like, oh my God, it's Thursday already. Are you kidding me?
That was me too.
What happened?
This week was so busy. Oh my God.
Insane. Yeah. So I had a lot of fun. So like people give me a hard time, right? And they like to razz me a little bit. And I'm sure it gets monotonous about how like every time we do the what's on your bench, I talk about well, I'm doing Etsy orders. So like if people bring that up, I'm like, yeah, look. And I would pull up my phone and show my order queue to them.
Mountain of overdues.
I literally had 30 overdue, just overdue ones.
Ooh, you should get a shirt that says Mountain Overdue instead of Mountain Dew.
And they're like, oh my God. So yeah, I came back home and that order queue reached as high as 102.
Oh,
I've still been trying to dig out. I mean, It's crazy. I honestly, I shouldn't have gone to Workbench Con with how much work I got to do.
Nope, you had to.
And it's like 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, because orders are still coming in, which I'm grateful for. But holy moly, I am having a hell of a time digging out underneath that. And now I'm not gonna have anything to talk about when we talk about what's on our bench. So I just
we'll do a quick one. We have some good questions and callbacks and reactions to Workbench Con as well. There is one. So like on the whole concept of walking up to people you don't know or like getting to know these big influencers.
Don't ever think of me as a big influencer.
We're not. I mean, unless it's size. Like I'm getting bigger every day.
Yeah,
well, but it's out.
That's fair.
So at one point, we're actually me, Dan, and Coffee are talking. We're like chatting, and I like turn on.
Wait, we talked Coffee?
We with Michelle Cafe. So we're all talking, and I'm like, oh wait, where's Emma? I turn around, and Emma's talking to Sam, DIY Huntress, and Brad Rodriguez from Fixes Build That. And I'm like, this is weird. Like 2 years ago, I would have like wept if I got to talk to both of them at the same time. And then she was pulled in by Sam and then was talking with Brad and stuff. I'm like, what is happening? What bizarro universe is this that like Emma gets pulled in to talk to Brad before I do?
People like Emma more than they like you. I've been
really
telling you this for a while.
They really do. And I will say, so this is about to get
prettier than you. She
everything.
Smells better than you.
Huh? How do you know?
That's a thing. That's a thing you can tell girls. We learned this.
No, oh my God, Dan.
You want to talk about
a server was handing drinks out and whatever, and Dan looks at me. He's like, "She smells great. Like, I'm gonna tell her." I'm like, "No,
the whole table."
Like,
when we were at the yard house in the Battery,
and then he asks her a hypothetical, clearly about her. Would it be okay to tell a girl if she smells good? She's like, "Yeah, as long as it's like it's fine." He's like, "You smell good." She's like, "Thank you," and we're all like, "This is so weird. I want to leave."
Why is that weird? I never understood that. I never understood that.
There's plenty of creepy people out there that if they said it, it's just.
I didn't mean it to be creepy.
Flags.
It was just, wow, you smell good.
If you were there alone,
okay, yeah,
by yourself,
or if I'm like, hey,
you smell good.
I just want to let you know you smell good.
Oh my God, your voice.
We'll save that clip.
When did Buffalo Bill get here?
It puts the lotion on it. Scared.
Dan, timestamp that and just record or put a clip or pull a clip or something. Jesus. Oh, Dan.
I think that was
40. Right, but I want to share my favorite moment of Workbench Con. Aside from staring at my own dumb face and then the elevator ride up to the room where you guys are all in the elevator wearing my face as your shirt. But this is going to get a little sappy. And grab your tissues.
Is this a good time for me to go poop?
If you need to, no, don't leave. I want you here for this. But it's the humble brag, and I don't mean this in any way as like I'm showing off a look who I am now type of thing. But it was so heartwarming to the point of like I was like on the verge of tears. The nice comments that I got from people, the fact that 4 grown men were wearing my face on their shirts and hats. 3 or whatever.
That's nothing to be proud of. That's cringy.
The fact that like first night we show up and like it's like Justin Maybe who's just tall and tattooed and he's cool and he's recording all these videos for everyone, and like the Pineys who I adore and love and like worship, they're so cute and cool, and like all these people that are like I look up to still, and I think they're killing it in community, and they're all like, yeah, we're going wherever Pete goes, everybody follow Pete, and they're like jokingly chanting my name, and I'm like, when did I like go to heaven and become part of the cool crew, and then like bumping into or having like Jason Hibbs walk up to me or Jimmy walk up to me and say hi and start a conversation and be like, what? I like a year ago, 2 years ago, like I couldn't fathom even talking to these people. And this is again, going back to the whole, like, it's okay to approach people because this is my family now.
That's
like,
how relationships start.
Yeah. Like,
relationships start by saying hi.
I'm getting choked up just thinking about it, but like,
unless they're your children,
and someone, one of the last nights someone even said was like, Pete, how are you so nice? And I just started cursing him out just It's my reflex.
Hey, F you.
But like literally like F you, you're cool, F you. But it's, this community is so loving. And if you just if you're good to it, they're gonna be so good to you. And like, I don't know if I've really shared this that much, but like, yeah, because I'm from Poland, guess what? I don't really have family here. Like we jokingly say that everyone at Workbench Con, that's our baby's aunts and uncles in the future. Like that's our extended family. It's really, it's amazing. It's crazy that you can meet people on the internet and be friends and family, basically. So that's
everything
my
they told
moment.
you not to do in the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah. Well, now it's hard to catfish people with like when you're doing 20 stories a day of your stupid.
Oh, it's super easy to catfish people. AI.
Well, I guess AI. Well, that's too much work, Dan.
It's fun though. Not that I do it. I don't do it. That's weird.
Speaking of fun,
why would I say that?
Dan, should we jump into in Maker News?
Real
quick.
What
do you have for us?
Let's do Maker News.
I don't think we have a sound for it.
I mean, I made that one. You said you hated it. You deleted it.
Which one was it?
It was that. Wasn't it like a news?
Oh, no. I don't know. What's this one?
Let's go.
Nah, that's just Mike saying.
That's not it.
No, we don't have a sound for it. So, by
the way, that sound was really quiet. You need to boost the sound a little bit.
I guess something you can boost, Dan.
Okay.
D's news. So I already mentioned Maker U is doing a class this week, and I am the teacher. So make sure to join that if
you're one of the teachers, not the teacher.
I'm the teacher for that one night.
Oh, okay.
I am Maker U that one night. And then after that, it's everyone else. But sign up for that. It's really great. And again, like I said, it's run by our friends. The other thing, and this was interesting. I kind of want to talk to you about this, Dan. Sawstop had gifted their patent for their Sawstop technology to the world. I mean, that everyone can use it.
Look. I think we could talk for a country mile about this. And I don't know how long that is in time.
They're not giving me a free Sawstop. We can just talk about it.
They're not giving us free Sawstops. However, they're not really gifting it though, are they? I mean,
no, they were losing the patent lawsuit and they just stopped fighting it. Hence,
I think their patent has run out because patents only last for like a certain amount of years, right? They're not in perpetuity. So I think their patent is running out and they're being forced to give it away or give it to the universe or whatever. So
I'm really glad that
that's how I understand it. Yes. I could be wrong.
No,
I don't want any litigation coming my way. But yeah. I mean, it's great. It's great that it's going to be out there. Hopefully there's more competitors and the price comes down and more people's fingers get saved and stuff. But
I mean, look at that. What is it? A Felder saw or one of those like high end?
I believe that is a Felder. I mean, that's an expensive saw.
Well, the thing is, $12,000 to $20,000 drops,
and it doesn't
stop it doesn't break the blade.
Yeah, it doesn't destroy the blade, which is cool. I mean, we could even talk about how Bosch came out with a Sawstop style saw, but it had a whole different mechanism. A couple years ago, they called it the Reax.
With an X.
Yeah, REAXX.
Ooh.
Oh, I think it was only 2 X's.
Check out Bosch on OnlyFans. ROAXX.
I think it was Bosch. I can't remember exactly. I'm doing this all by memory. And
well, think of like even anti-kickback technology on saws that literally cut the motor immediately. Mm-hmm. Like my crappy DeWalt saw has it, so I will never get kickback while I'm cutting a board. That's kind of cool.
It's kind of cool. And it's nice that technology is getting out there. So
yeah,
that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. But it's really cool because we're gonna see it in a lot more things.
Oh, I will say. So going back to Workbench Con, Shopsmith. Well, first of all, Shopsmith is still a thing.
Yep.
Well, Maker News. Shopsmith's still a thing. There you go. There's my Maker News. They were demonstrating at Workbench Con, and they're really putting new technology into these things, and they're amazing. However, anyways, Braden, Nick, and I, we were up there chatting up the shopsmith people, and I can't remember who brought up the Sawstop issue, but they had a lot to say about that certain situation, and they are none too happy with the Sawstop. So if they both listen to this, drama.
Drama. Also,
Anyway.
they're not sponsoring us, but
Shopsmith.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that for a second. Like, I had no idea that was still a thing. I thought that was something that, like, a gimmicky tool that was made in the 50s and 60s and they died out, but they're still making those in Ohio.
We have listeners to this podcast that are like, what are these old geezers talking about? They've never seen or heard of Shopsmith before.
Google Shopsmith. It'll blow your mind.
I bet you Sarah Goldstein, one of our patrons, she probably has never heard of Shopsmith. Or seen a Shopsmith.
It's like 9 tools in one. You could basically get rid of
it's more than that.
Bandsaw, your drill press, your lathe, your table saw. It's got everything in one machine.
Anyone that's confused, it's 2 sets of rails. Like, think of like rails that are on a 150, right? And there is just a big effing motor in the center.
Right.
With, like, I think the spine comes out in both directions. I forget, or maybe just one side,
perhaps.
But anyways, there's literally like a spot that it would latch onto. Like, think R2D2 trying to open up a door. Like, a thing goes into it and it locks in.
You lost me at
there you go. I knew
Star Trek talk.
But this thing, essentially, you can take. They had like a bandsaw there, a table saw, a jointer,
a drill press,
a lathe, and it all just hooks up to it because all it is just a motor, and you have this big, powerful motor to run all these machines.
So you just get different adapters and put all these different machines on.
They're not like full size. Like, the jointer had like, I don't know, like 12-inch in feed and out feed, but that's no bigger than like the tabletop one.
Yeah, it's like a tabletop size, like a Delta or the. That's the only one I can think of off the top of my head. Rigid maybe makes one.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's still, listen, at the end of the day, it's still very cool. It's still a different technology, different way to approach it, and
like if you're tight, if you're tight on space, that might be the perfect thing for you. It might be. I mean, I even said that. I was like, wow, I could get rid of so many things in my shop. And the guy was like, could you say that again, except into this microphone? Like, for a few dollars, I could.
Oh, that's great.
They're nice people. They gave me a hat.
They did give you a hat. They did not give me a hat.
Well, you didn't say please.
Well, speaking of please, Dan, could you please tell me
what's on my bench?
Why don't you give me a quick what's on a bench?
Well, I just basically talked about it.
I know you talked about some of it.
However, I will go a little bit more into detail. Like I said, I came back to nearly just over 100, 102. My wife and I counted them. It was ridiculous. And by counted them, I just looked at the little red dot that's on my phone. So yeah, I've been swimming out of that, or trying to swim out of that. It's been an uphill battle. It's like I'm swimming in a whirlpool, which is great. Money's money. It's paying the bills. But it's slightly frustrating because, man, I really don't like disappointing people, but I feel like I'm letting people down right and left. It's actually gotten to the point where, like, I had to tell another local woodworker, his name's Mike from Twisted Tree Woodworks. I think he had brought me a bunch of like panels that he wanted me to CNC for him because he does wine boxes and he does like a bunch at a time. And we had kind of worked out a sort of a verbal deal where he was going to bring me all these panels, and he brought them to me just before WorkbenchCon. I was like, yeah, I'll get to him after WorkbenchCon. I came back, I got 100 orders. I had to text him today and say, man, I don't know what kind of timeline you have, but if you have a very strict deadline, I'm not gonna be able to do this. So he's gonna have to come pick them up tomorrow, and I feel like a turd, but you know, I gotta keep my business that's actually keeping the roof over my head happy.
I feel like I keep putting this off, but I feel like I really need to fly out to Nebraska.
Man,
to help you for a weekend.
You're always welcome.
But Dan, it will be no drinking until after 5, work all day for 2 or 3 days.
Party all night. Yeah.
Party until like 10:30 in fire pit, and then like, and then we get you caught up and then the reset, you know.
Yeah. That's one of the big things I miss about Isaiah being in my shop. If you're a new listener and you have no idea who I'm talking about, Isaiah was the guy who worked in my shop with me for a short period of time. He motivated me to constantly work and make sure things were running. Like if I had a machine running and I went and sat down and looked at my phone, he'd come over and go, "Hey, why don't you go do this?" I'm like, "Man, who is running this shop? Is it me or you?"
It's
But
the
thank
concept
you.
of body doubling, you know?
Right.
When you have a buddy there, you just get more work done. Like when I have Emma in here, dude, it's like I'm trying to impress someone that I already locked down. It's so weird, but your brain doesn't think like
Right.
it just does it anyways. Like, oh, I don't want to disappoint this stranger.
And speaking of Etsy, like I think I mentioned before that the table sales are going pretty well, which is nice. I sold one of those. I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but I sold one of those pick tables that I made.
Yeah.
Did I mentioned this last week?
No, the bed frame. No, there was no show last week.
I'm getting there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you sold this table. Yeah, yeah.
Also, many months ago, I feel like maybe a year ago, I put that bed, that Thuma style bed that I made before. I made 2 of them in the past. So I was like, what the heck? I'll put it on Etsy. And I did, and I finally sold one this past week, which was nice. It's a full size bed.
Can you
She wants it
share
made-
the like what you charge for this
Yeah,
item?
absolutely.
You mind- And keep in mind, people, this was bought through Etsy. Someone just bought this on Etsy.
Yeah, I've had several people inquire about it, but nobody's
Yeah.
ever like gone through and buy it. And I put it up there just for shits and giggles. You know, I never really expected to sell one, but hey, if I did, cool. I got it listed as starting at $1,599, and yeah, I'm one of those guys that does the 99. I don't know why. It's just,
That's $1,599.
yeah,
For those crazy people out
1599.
there that are like, "Where's my table?" For I bought this plan for $15.99. Where's
Yeah,
my
I give you
table?
$16. Where's mine? It starts at $15.99 for a twin, and it goes up to a king. So it's twin, full, queen, king. She bought a full, so I think that was $17.99, and that includes shipping. I've already shipped 2 of them, so I know how much that's going to cost me. It should cost me about $90 to $100 within the contiguous 48.
Dude, but that's crazy. Like, so someone dropped $1,800 on Etsy.
Yeah,
Like, people
I
do
mean,
that.
the customers are out there. You just got to get your stuff in front of their eyes, apparently. So, and like I've said before, once you sell something, it helps kind of get that ball rolling, and Etsy will start showing it to more and more people. So if you have a bigger item and you want to sell it and Etsy's your place, it costs 20 cents to list it, man. It ain't gonna
Yep.
cost you much. I mean, what's the worst that can happen?
If you scoff your
sell
nose
one.
at 20 cents, this is
Right.
not the game for you.
So I've been listing all sorts of stuff. So I'm like, I'll figure out how to ship it. Where there's a will, there's a way, baby. So
Attaboy.
I'm excited. I sold a bed through Etsy, so that's cool. But now I have to make a bed, and I don't have time. What's great about that order though is she messaged me right away and she said, "Hey, I actually don't need this for quite a while. I really don't need it till like May or June." I'm like, that is
no,
perfect.
Oh, that lady effed up. Oh, because Dan's not going to touch it until he's going to be May. We're going to be recording an episode, and you're going to be like, I still got to make that bed frame. I got paid for it like 3 months ago. I still got to make it.
Yeah, but with Etsy, you can actually go in and change the ship by date manually. So I moved it all the way out till mid-May. So it ain't gonna affect me.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, it won't be overdue-ish. But yeah, I can't send it because apparently she's moving. So if I send it earlier, she'll be mad, which probably get me a bad review, and that'll be that.
Sent
Anyway.
too quickly, 1 star. First time to get that.
But obviously my life is controlled by Etsy, so not much to share there. My shop is an absolute disaster. Something needs to be done, and hopefully soon the Oma Bros are gonna help me organize my life and my shop. So I can't wait for that. Hopefully soon.
And maybe NJ Tree.
Well, yeah,
Because
I
you're
would love
Oma
that.
Bros. I don't know. I have to think of like my own name. state-based name.
Aren't you jealous that I have a group? Oma Bros.
I have Keith
It
Johnson.
just rolls off the tongue.
He's worth 5 Oma Bros.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a cool name like Oma Bros. So,
Well, you don't know that. We're the Sussex County. The suspicious
like that.
Sussex County.
Don't like that. Don't like that.
But Dan, can you also talk about how you're gonna keep your truck for another however many years?
No, I don't want to talk about that at all. Not until it's all done. Figured out. I may or may not keep my trail boss, depending on what kind of deal I can get. That's all I'll say about that. What's up with you, Mr. Sussex? Sussex.
Well, we're kind of like you. We don't have as many orders as you, but we're catching up on orders and requests and emails and things like that. And you know, when you're away and you keep weird hours and sometimes you don't have service, like there's maybe an Etsy message or two that slips through the cracks and you don't answer in time.
I got it down to 78.
That's a lot of red there. Dan, I've never seen one of those overdue things. So
well, there you go. You're welcome.
So we've actually seen, while we're away, it was really odd. We've seen an uptick in all 3 of our shops. So Shopify, TikTok Shop, and on Etsy. So we're trying to stay on top of all 3, and they all got different. When you're in multiple places, it gets a little challenging sometimes, but it ain't too bad. Not too bad. But we're just getting sorted out. It's Thursday. We finally unpacked our bags today. However, the shop's still not unpacked. So the goodie bags and a bunch of other stuff is still in the shop. I still have Keith's stuff. I have Justin's stuff. I have a bunch of those cutting board feet. I have the Piney's stuff just in my shop. I know, because
the back of your Explorer must have been just swag bags.
Riding real low, bud. So, but it's great. It's
driving through the South what's up?
So tomorrow morning, I'm seeing Keith. Tomorrow afternoon, Justin's coming, and then we're going to see the Pineys in the next couple of weeks too, for a meetup. So it's fine. We almost do it as a reason to hang out after Workbench Con. We did it last year.
I do remember Carlina saying that to Patrick. They're she goes, yeah, because he's like, we could probably take that, and she goes, no, let him take it. That way we have an excuse to go visit.
Yeah, and until then, I have some extra clamps to use. So. What else? We're kind of resetting our goals after this week. So we've been working. We finally got caught up on some emails. Reached out to everyone. And when we're talking about reaching out to people you talk to at Workbench Con, we don't just mean brands. I think it's good to reach out to people that you may have had a good conversation with. Hey, really great chatting with you. I reached out to a bunch. I've had some people reach out to me, and it's a really nice feeling to be like, hey, I remember us talking at 1 a.m. in the morning. That was really helpful. Thank you. That's big. So I encourage you to reach out to people if someone made an impression on you, because I think it's just a good way to be a human. And aside from that, just
good way to foster those relationships.
And the last thing was I've been dealing with our oven died right before our trip, and I had a new oven delivered 2 days ago. Tested it. The fan for the convection was grinding in the back. They picked it up this morning, and I'm like, hey, so when's my new one coming? They're like, I don't know why they didn't just schedule it as one drop off and pick up. So tomorrow they're bringing
efficiency. We don't know.
I
about
know
that.
but excited.
One thing you kind of skipped over is you got that new oven and you hooked it all up, and it was good to go. And then you found the flaw or whatever.
Yeah, I had to convert it because we're on propane, so it comes with the little nozzles.
Propane accessories.
Yeah, so we had to convert it all, and it's a pain in the butt. And it's one of those things where they give you the nozzles are a weird wrench size, and they don't give you the wrench. So you just have to, and it's a non-standard size.
Certainly, you didn't have any wrenches in your shop. No way.
I did. Guess what? Didn't have the small one. I had to lean on Joe, my neighbor. There's also this little opening where you have to get it down. Oh, Joe taught me a neat trick. Dan, you're going to love this. So if you have a socket wrench and you're trying to put a bolt on, if it's a non-ferrous one, you don't want it to fall out. He puts a paper towel in there and then sticks the bolt inside. So it sticks. And also if you're trying to remove one from somewhere, you stick a paper towel, stick your finger inside the socket and go on top of the screw, and it's pressure fit. So when you're done unscrewing it, it'll just come out with the wrench.
What?
Freaking brilliant.
Blown.
It's just stuff you learn from a mechanic, so it's good stuff.
That's what 90 years in the biz get you.
Yeah. Oh, good thing Joe doesn't listen to this.
Speaking of tips and tricks.
Speaking of tips and tricks, let's go.
Hey. No, you shared the plumbing hack. The plumbing, the little glove trick.
I did it as a story, and I had 3 people reach out to me being like, that's a great tip. And some of them were like, you should share that. I'm like, you know what? Here's the thing. I've been in my own head about my own content where like I'm not posting it because it's not perfect. So I was like, screw it. I'm doing it.
Right.
So thanks, Adam Barnett. He was the last one that nudged me, that pushed me over the edge. Adam pushes me over the edge often.
Usually not in a good way.
Yeah, no. But no, he was like, yeah, you should share that. I'll make a good reel. I'm like, okay.
You know
I'm
what?
doing it.
I've seen a lot of people make story content into real content because you know how there's some content that's like, this should be a story. And you're like, no,
This should be a reel.
this should be real. I love Patrick and Justin from Campfire Woodworks.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been working on, they want to do a reel every day, and they've been doing a reel every day since like Maker Camp.
Since
maybe the first
first of the year. They did all of January every single day. I think they may have dialed it back a little bit for February, but they're still consistent.
Yes. And it is paying off. It is paying off like tenfold. Go look at their accounts. They're growing. They're doing great. However, I will say that Patrick is really pushing the boundaries with his real content. Like sometimes he'll post something. I'm like, that should have been a story.
Should have been a story.
But he's doing it. My point is he's doing it.
He's doing it. Yeah.
Working. So don't let that stop you, Pete.
I often say that like TikTok posts are what stories are in Instagram, because TikTok's a lot more conversational. You can like respond to comments and like just kind of ramble.
Right, I agree with that.
But like then again, that content's also being cross posted to Instagram. Just I guess my Instagram's curated differently, so it's not really showing that. But whatever, it don't matter.
All right.
But
just to be clear, all love for Patrick. I love. Patrick.
Yeah. Genesal, Patrick Genesal. So why don't we get into some questions, Dan?
Please. That was awkward.
You're very awkward. You're a very awkward person. So I think the first one, I think this is from Randall from very expensive Connecticut.
Hey guys, it's Randy up here in the currently very cold Connecticut. It's about 27 degrees, and we just got past that blizzard, quote unquote, that we just had up here. I have a question about shop furniture. My shop is 10 feet wide by 22 feet deep and 7 feet tall, completely surrounded by concrete, and I rent. So I can't attach anything really to the concrete, and I'm very limited on space. The question I have is, knowing that we're moving in about 2 to 3 years, do I make custom-sized furniture to the shop and hoping it fits in what my next shop would be? Or do I just go get like 2x4s and 4x4s and plywood and just kind of slap stuff together to get me by? Can't wait to hear the answer. Love the podcast. Talk to you later.
Dan, what do you think?
Don't just slap stuff together. I mean, you're not going to be happy with that.
You would say that.
I think in the long run, it's going to be a waste of money because you're just going to rip it apart probably. However, I will say make custom furniture, but not for the size of your shop, but for the size of your tools, especially if you think you're going to keep those tools for a longer period of time, because the size of your tools aren't going to change as much as the size of your shop, especially if you know that you're going to be moving in the near future. That's my piece of advice. That's the only correct answer. What do you say, Pete?
Well, let me give you some wrong answers real quick. I would almost lean to 50-50 on this one. And the reason I want to say that is first of all, don't do full built-ins unless you're planning to leave them. And obviously. Also built-ins are a little, because like if you have a miter station and let's say you have like, think like Scotty Walsh's shop, like it's a 1 car wide and his miter station's in the back and it's basically a built-in there.
And it's beautiful. And he's got a very nice zero clearance in.
Gorgeous. Yes. But like that's kind of meant to stay there. And if you try to move that into another place, it's gonna be a little difficult. So what I would say is build a bunch of cabinets that are fairly modular that you can just throw a screw and add them together and then take the screws out. Yeah, just make a bunch of boxes somewhere for different heights. They're different tools. I love the concept. I saw somebody build this once. It was a bunch of modular cabinets. They're all like a standard 24-inch wide by 24-inch deep with a countertop, but they were just like he added them side by side by side. It wasn't a continuous top. It was each thing was separate, but there was a couple that were lower. So like his rigid spindle sander, the top of the spindle sander was counter height. He had a mini joiner, and that joiner, the in feed and out feed was just a hair above where the other workbenches were. So he could actually move it around depending on where he wanted it, or if he wanted to move it to another part of the shop that was fairly modular. So maybe design some furniture around things that like you're going to be able to take and move into a new space with no trouble. Now, look at even like Paul Jackman from whatever his account is. I don't know. I don't follow him. But check out Paul Jackman. He had those like large cabinets that he built. They were all in casters, but like all kind of attached firmly. I'm pretty sure they were on casters. So when he moved several states, and it all held together, and it still was miter station and all that stuff. So, there's ways to make these things very durable but still movable. Right. Now the other part of this is for some furniture, do some quick built-ins. Try to maximize the space. Throw a couple 2x4s and crappy plywood at it, put a top on it. Like my CNC was literally built at my old shop, into the corner of my garage. And like to the point where I notched out a section where like it went behind the garage door, like to maximize the space so I can keep like random pieces back there. Just use whatever space you can. So that's why you want to half-ass some, quarter-ass some, and then full-ass the rest of it. The stuff that you're really going to move over with you wherever you're going next. That's going to last you a while. Yeah.
That was all wrong. But yes, absolutely.
Don't quarter us.
3.3333. Yes.
All right. Next question is kind of along the same lines. It's from our new good friend, Matthew, who won our ticket to WorkbenchCon.
Matthew Ableman.
Yeah. He's quite the able man. So here it is.
What's up, guys? It's Matthew from Ablewood Custom Shop. Just want to thank you, first off, for sponsoring me going to WorkbenchCon. But my question is, I work out of a garage and a house that I rent. There is one outlet in that garage, and it's in the ceiling. And it makes it a pain to do anything with it. So I've got a couple extension cords and a power strip, but I have to unplug and plug in individual tools in order to do anything, which makes my dust collection, there is none. I have to continuously vacuum and blow out the garage. Is there any solution you could think that would be easy and safe? There's a lot of seen a lot of things burn down, and it makes me really nervous. All right, guess that's it. Thanks, guys. See ya.
I have a solution for you, but it is not going to be cheap.
You're not going to like it.
You're not going to like it.
Damn.
Battery powered tools. Seriously though, get a battery powered.
I hate that you're not wrong in this.
Table saw, battery powered miter saw. That way you can still plug in your dust collector. However, as I said, it's not going to be cheap. Battery powered miter saws, battery powered table saws are expensive. But you're kind of in a really crappy predicament, right? Like you're a renter. You don't want to be making huge modifications to where you're living. I get it. So honestly, I don't see many other options. Hopefully Pete has a better answer for you. That's all I got.
Well, it's actually, you know what, Dan, 10 years ago, if somebody was like, go battery everything, I'd be like, you're stupid, go away.
Battery technology has come a long way.
It's so good. And like a lot of these saws are taking dual batteries, so you're actually having a lot of power behind it.
Exactly. I mean, I've seen battery powered augers that are augering out fence posts. I mean,
and some of them are Ryobi even.
Yeah.
Right?
Riding lawnmowers with batteries. I mean, battery technology has come a long way, and I think that might be your solution right now.
Oh, I hate it, but Dan's not wrong. One thing, so first thing I'm going to recommend is you're going to go out on Amazon or store or whatever. Actually, go on Amazon, buy a corded, like retractable cable reel for power. So don't just do an extension like one. I actually ended up getting one that was it's an outlet with 3 like nice outlets. The thing is pretty beefy. And it can handle some good voltage. I'm assuming that you've run multiple tools already on multiple extension cords off that one outlet, and it's been fine. So at least you're not tripping that thing. At least it's not like 13 amps or something. That's not a real thing, but like a 15 amp circuit. Like you'll just blow that so quickly. The other thing, it seems like you're really more concerned with how dusty the shop is getting, and you're a little afraid about fire, which is a very, very valid concern to have. I cannot stress enough, collect the dust at the tool. I think a shop vac is great. Shop vacs are so loud.
It's better than nothing.
Better than nothing, but they're very loud. I would recommend, instead of getting like a big dust collector or something, invest in a very nice, and I mean this, get a nice vacuum that is has a plug on it, which means you can plug a tool into it and then run the hose to the tool. So when you run the tool, the vacuum turns on. And then when you turn off the tool, it runs for another like 5 seconds. It continues to clean. And then you can switch it from, like Festal makes them. And I know Festal expensive.
Not a cheap option, but it's an option.
Marca has them. Fine. Actually, FEIN, I think, is a company. Fine makes, they're one of the first companies that had done this back in the day. And their vacuums are pretty reliable and cheap. And try to look for, because you're going to be using that as your primary dust collector, you can use a separate separator on it. Something like the dust hopper. Oneida has a separator. The mullet is a great option. So you want something that's actually going to drop a lot of that stuff in there. Because the thing is, and this is speaking from experience, I've got a very nice Festal vacuum. It's awesome. I don't have a reusable bag. So once every couple of months, when that vacuum bag fills up, I sit there and I'm dumping it through the opening while it's collecting it into the big dust collector, right? It's stupid. They make resealable bags, but I just don't want to buy it because they're kind of pricey. So to avoid that, you want a separator and a vacuum. There's nothing wrong with a shop vac. They're great, but they're very loud, and you're gonna hate it so much that you're not gonna turn it on. Something that's a little more like designed for long runs, like these sander vacuums. That's something that's really going to be a nice solution for you. And I think, like, listen, you don't need to break the bank. Like, you can even get a Festal vacuum. I think I got one for like $250 or something. And all of them, no matter how big, they have the same suction for the most part. It's the bag that's the difference, or HEPA filtration. Actually, that's another one. Yeah, the HEPA filtration, that's huge too. But you want something with an added separator or hopper in front of it. And you can hook up the mullet to the Festal vac. I know because I've done it. It works great, and highly recommend that. So I think that's going to be
Dust Deputy.
Dust Deputy is another one. But yeah, Oneida, we saw at the show. Oneida has another one. It's like a bucket separator.
Yeah. It's like a little cyclone you put on a 5-gallon bucket.
So there's a lot of cheap. Basically, you're slapping something cheap to something very expensive, but it's going to be a great solution and way less. And also, hey, you plug into the ceiling or to whatever, and it has an outlet on it. So it's not like you lose an outlet. Mm-hmm. That's kind of huge. So I think that's going to be your best solution, man. Be safe in the shop, keep it clean. And it's also that your lungs are going to help you if you clean up your shop. Dan, you hear that? Dan?
What?
You coughed so loud, your mic muted you.
Now I actually have to cough because I cough fake.
You fake cough, so now you're real coughing?
Yeah. Now I'm dying. Okay.
Matthew, great question. And also, bud, great meeting you. It was really nice. He's super sweet.
I'm glad he was able to enjoy it. Take me had a good time.
Yeah. Super happy with that. All right, last is a mystery caller. And I think it's a girl.
Hello, boys and AWP beautiful people. I am sending in my takeaways from Workbench Con. So my first favorite part is always getting to see our friends from the internet. We only get to see most people in real life once or twice a year. So that is always like the biggest exciting part for me. because I love people. And then this year, I feel like my biggest takeaway actually came from the classes. I feel like the info this year was really good and it gave us some really good inspiration to leave with. And then also, I feel like we had like a solid game plan afterwards. Sometimes I feel like you get so inspired, but you leave and you're kind of like, what am I supposed to do? But this time I feel like we really had like a solid idea of like where we need to go next. So that was pretty great to leave feeling like we really got our time worth out of it, if that makes sense. So anyway, have fun tonight. See you in a little bit. Bye. Oh, by the way, it's Emma.
Oh, that was it. I thought she sounds familiar. Okay. All makes sense now.
It's a little ASMR. I don't know how I feel about my wife calling into this podcast sounding better than us.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say anything. She sounded
Recorded
quite
on
good.
iPhone.
Did she record that on her phone?
Yeah, on her phone.
What the heck?
I know, what the hoot and heckin'. So we asked for some people to call in with their kind of like their experience with Workbench Con, what they really like, what were their takeaways. So we have a couple as well.
Yeah, we got
Emma,
some.
thank you for calling in. We appreciate it. Maybe we'll get some more voicemails from her in the future.
That would be cool by me. Is she in the background going? Bye.
Oh, she's in bed. It is late. It's past midnight. She's definitely
midnight
in bed.
o'clock in your neck of the woods.
And
yes, we got a couple
America.
write-in questions. First one I'm going to read is from Max Reid. He says, first, hi, Emma. And B, there were a lot of great people and experiences at the conference, but what was your favorite experience of the weekend outside of the conference itself? Thanks, guys. Keep up the mad work. Like I said before, my favorite experience was the chat I had with Jimmy DeResta. That was fantastic.
Yeah, I think we kind of covered that in the first part of it.
For sure.
And then actually, there was a second part that he included in.
Yes, he talked about his takeaways.
Did you get that as well? Or you want me to read it?
You can read it. I'm not good at the reading.
So his favorite experience, obviously, hanging out with you guys and Emma and Nick, and I guess Braden too.
Yeah,
yeah, that is the Matt Army for
Braden is kind of mid.
And then
I don't know if I used that word correctly.
He's a mid. Oh, that's. Look at you using.
Did I do it right?
You were close enough. I'll allow it.
Cool. What's up, fellow kids?
What's up, fellow kids? Hello, youths. So then there's two more things. So Max's favorite experience. My favorite experience from this year was all the new friends I left with. It was really great, actually. Not meeting them, but seeing them again. Both Makers and Brands and Jeff from Maker's Way, stuffing money in my pockets for beer. And then Alyssa's favorite takeaway was my favorite class was the power carving class. I might become a power carver now. And this was actually great because they showed off these like power carved knives, like bread knives or butter knives or whatever.
Shank knives.
Really cool. Yeah, I really liked it. I'm like, oh man, I should have maybe done a carving thing. So
I'm sad to report that I didn't know power carving was a class. I would have done that.
It was at the because it was one of those booth classes. It wasn't like a person teaching it.
Okay.
Oh, I mean, it was a human. It was a person teaching it. But,
it was a human, not a robot.
Human or human. But yeah, it was because this year was actually interesting at Workbench Con. There was brands doing classes.
Right.
And from what I hear, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Some hands-on, some was more like in depth with their programs or like taking your business to the next level, which is pretty cool. Good stuff.
Actually, they reminded me of something that Braden, Nick, and I did. It seems like I just went to Workbench Con to hang out with my Oma bros. I could have saved a lot of money.
You could have just stayed home.
Braden, Nick, and I, and Scott Shirk from Red Lake Custom Woodworks, we got pulled into putting together the gong for Workbench Con.
Gong with a G.
G-O-N-G. Gong.
Yeah, gong.
So at the end of the conference, I don't know if they did it this year, actually. At the end of the conference, they usually bang a gong to signify the closing.
Wait, I didn't hear them bang it. Was I?
Yeah, they were probably scared to because, like I said, us four, we put it together because Chris Giffro from Cowdog Craftworks.
Hey, Chris designed it.
He designed it and put it together last year. So maybe it's not that long of a tradition. However, when he made it, it probably went together great, right? I'm sure it was silky smooth and it worked great. But I don't know where the Workbench Con folks have been storing this thing, but it must have moved all kinds of ways and twisted. And we had a hell of a time putting that thing together. We had to beat the crap out of it.
Are you saying wood moves?
Wood definitely moves, and I have proof. And I have a really funny video. I might post that.
Dude, that was 100% stored in like someone's yard. Or
It had to be
or,
stored in like
non-climate controlled. Yeah.
So yeah, we were putting that thing together. We were beating the crap out of it. It's probably got all kinds of nicks and breaks and chips on it now, but we got that sucker together. And I did not want to be around to see when it got gone, because if it fell apart, I didn't want any part of it. Anyway, that was pretty fun.
And a little
I never got a free drink for it though either.
Yeah. Well, I was supposed to get a free drink from the Maker University. I negotiated my fee to be that, whatever it is, plus a drink. So I never got that. So don't be hearing from my lawyers.
Yeah, that's baloney.
And call back to what Max said. He mentioned hanging out with Jeff from Maker's Way. I'm going to give Jeff a shout out. Really solid dude. He's one of those dudes that I was like kind of intimidated. He doesn't seem like he'd be like me because I'm a nerd, whatever. Super nice dude, super cool, hella funny. Loved hanging out with him. So Jeff, if you're listening to this, I love you, bro.
Don't knock a beer out of his hand and don't touch his hair.
Yeah, don't try to start fights with him, Dan. Maybe that's just a good rule overall for everyone.
It's probably
my God.
Don't start fights with people.
And maybe don't tell him he smells nice.
I mean, I think Jeff would appreciate that, actually. Jeff, you actually smell nice. Actually, yeah, I can say that. All right, we got another. Before this gets really awkward, we got another write-in.
Adam Barnett.
This is from Adam Barnett of Barnett Custom Woodworks. I'm just going to read this verbatim, okay? He writes, I'm a patron. You have to read this. I, the current speaker,
Dan,
had the great pleasure of seeing Adam in person at Workbench Con. It was the greatest part of my year so far, and won't be topped until I see him again at Maker Camp, probably. Possibly tied with Pete and Emma's baby. P.S. What was your favorite class and booth at Workbench Con?
Oh, Dan's coughing now again. That's great. Yeah, no, I don't know if anything's gonna tie the baby. We'll see. I don't know. For all we know, the baby's gonna be I don't know. She's gonna be lame and not be into nerdy stuff and making.
No way.
I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna try to apply this gentle art of persuasion that I call attrition. Where I just wear away the child until she's like, fine, I'll watch Star Trek, you know?
I've tried to do that with my kids. They don't like any of the things I do, so good luck.
Good luck. So yeah, Dan, favorite booth at Workbench Con, Dan?
Man, I think I probably Onefinity. There was always like fun things going on over there, and I really just like hanging out with a bunch of those guys. The Bow booth was actually pretty fun. I like talking to Bill and Bill. I got a kick out of them. Excuse me. And Total Boat, obviously. How did I miss
Total Boat, baby?
Total Boat's always a fun booth. That's usually where like there's a big crowd of people and it's a party and it's fun. Those are my top three.
And I want to say I am so proud of Dan because he just named 3 booths that were there, and there was literally a booth that provided bourbon, and Dan didn't mention that one.
I forgot about that.
Every memory of that place was wiped. See, like I said in the intro, there's so many things that we'll never forget, and some things that we immediately forgot. But
I shouldn't have fake coughed, by the way, because I am
messed you up.
I am choking. I'm choking. I'm dying.
Well, listen, Total Boat is that's family. We go there first. We hang out there. We say hi, and then we go from there. That's home base, right? Total Boat is always home base. I had a good time at the Lightburn booth because just I got to see a new program, try it out, and like it was cool to see like the designers and engineers like take notes from a nobody. You know, so super cool because you never get that close to the ground floor and stuff. Onefinity's obvious one because that's another family booth. Gotta give a shout out to Hannah over at Surf Prep. Hannah's just like the nicest, and every time I talk to her, I just like them even more. And they're just super solid over there. What up?
I got to give a shout out to the Scroll Saw booth.
Yeah, that was on my list.
How
Nice.
did I? Oh,
It's was it Bear? Wait, not Bear Hollow or no? Bear,
yeah, I think Bear
Bearwood?
Hollow.
The Bear Hollow Supply was we worked with it once. It was Bearwood. I'm blanking on it, but it was the whole booth was basically Ashley from Ash Wood and Hawk and Lizzie from House of Timber, teaching people how to use scroll saws and showing off the equipment, and they were just so upbeat and welcoming, and it was great. I've never scroll sawed before. It was great. We actually got a couple videos of us doing it. Photo with the ladies. Super
Speaking
fun.
of videos of scrolls, did you see the video of
Dave and Jeff and who else was it?
was it Kamani?
I don't know. So there's a video where Lizzie's helping Ashley scroll saw, and it was like a ghost-esque
With the with the ghost music.
hands on the hands, and and then the boys did this thing. They're like, we could do thirst traps, and of course the puppet, Dave's puppet.
Yeah, let's talk
Cool
about
Dave. Let's
Dave's
talk about
puppet.
Cool Dave.
Gee
So
whiz.
Dave leaned in fully with Cool Dave puppet, and he
Dave,
was everywhere,
3D
and he
DIY
was the highlight. You know what? Dave won Workbench Con because he had the coolest person with him. Also, I don't want to bring this up or anything, but I don't think he actually bought him a ticket. So kind of
That's bull.
broke. That's BS,
Yeah.
But listen, but then again, Cool Dave.
Yes, the video, it's Jeff from Maker's Way, Kamani,
Kamani,
Dave's puppet.
and Cool Dave.
Cool Dave.
I'm starting to think the puppet thing works the other way. Cool Dave controls Lame Dave,
No, Lame Dave controls Cool Dave.
I guess. I don't know.
Don't give him too much credit.
It's pretty cool. It's listen.
No, it's
the
hilarious,
thing,
and I'm
Dan.
jealous that he's got it.
If we got a puppet, we would be in jail.
I mean, Dave was
Dave can
trying
pull
to
it
get
off.
Dave was trying to get a bunch of people to do it. And he's like, look, we could probably all get puppets and like sell this as a big brand deal, and like we could get sponsors on board. I'm
the
like,
Maker Muppets and get sued
yes.
out the butt.
It would be fun though. It'd be
But
fun.
again, we couldn't do it. We would get immediately arrested. Immediately.
Probably. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure nothing good would come of that from me having a puppet for sure.
Definitely creepy.
Yeah, I can't believe
anyways.
we didn't talk about that sooner. That was actually a
I
pretty
know.
fun
It's so
highlight.
fun. And again, there's so many things that happened. There's so much fun, and didn't record enough content as it was. I don't think I have any like usable content for a reel or whatever.
Right.
But well, also on the coming off this hot event, I just want to point out to everyone that Maker Camp announced the dates for this year's Maker Camp. So it's very exciting. I'm going to tell you guys exactly when it is. I'm definitely not stalling. October 11th to the 14th of this year. So it's actually a week after it usually is. Kind of. I think it just works out like that with the calendar. But we're going to be there. So that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. I'm having
Yeah.
trouble. I'm dying.
Dan's dying. So I'll do the outro. But so no, it is confirmed. It is a week after it usually is because it's usually that first week of October.
Right.
So
Right.
super stoked. Make sure to start planning that. Don't buy your tickets yet. We might probably have a discount code or something.
Maybe.
Yeah,
We'll see. We'll
maybe.
see. We'll see.
We'll see if maybe we can work that out again this year. But yeah, we are very excited for everything. We're excited for next week. We have a guest, but we haven't locked him down yet. So we'll probably have someone on. If not, we'll do a little topic episode. And also a little teaser. We are approaching episode 200 soon, which means we could have something really big or absolutely nothing going on.
I mean, it could go either way.
It could go either way. So, but anyways, thank you to our patrons. You guys are amazing. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you to everyone that said hi and gave us a big hug at Workbench Con. It was incredible. And we look forward to hugging the rest of you guys at some point in our future. Make sure to go, if you don't follow us already, go check us out on all the platforms. We're still trying to grow.
And
Dan's
if you
pointing
want
his
to
pen.
see what all the hype is about, go over to patreon.com/anotherwoodshop podcast and help us out over there.
Yeah,
We'd
it's
love to have you.
best way to support the show. And of course, if you want to see our dumb faces and our cool backgrounds and the silly shirts we wear while we record this and the pre-show, make sure to go check out youtube.com/anotherwoodshop podcast. And you're like, I can't remember that. Well, guess what? It's in the show notes where we put all the topics we talk about, all the cool sponsors we have, any links and things like that. So
He puts a lot of work into the show notes. So
I put a
make use of
medium
that.
amount of work. I mainly make Emma do everything.
I'm trying
That's
to
a
make you
lie.
look good.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Well, thank you guys for listening. We are keeping it under 2 hours as promised.
Hey,
And we'll see you all next week.
love you long time.
Love you. Bye-bye.